Hello knitters, Faye Lynn from Strand's Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California. It's going to be a short and sweet one. I'm just going to remind you of some classes that are coming up. And yeah, so we'll get started. So last Sunday, we didn't remember, we weren't told, or our notice didn't come until Saturday, that it was Fiesta Day in downtown San Clemente, which means it was packed. It's a big into summer thing. There's bands here. There's a lot of vendors here. And so by 8 in the morning, I was here last year, like at 8 in the morning, and already there was no parking. I had to park blocks that way. So we canceled class Sunday morning because there'd be no parking. And you could barely even drive down the streets. So we are moving the mitten class to the sweater class. And both the mittens and the sweaters will happen this Sunday from 10 to 12. So if you were going, which I had a few, and if you can't come this Sunday, of course you could come Saturday, you can come Wednesday, you can come anytime you can make it. But our little mitten garland, I'm not going to go into it too much, but the mitten garlands is now this Sunday from 10 to 12. And along with that is the sweater class. For the sweater part, I just didn't get totally off my needles. It's almost off my needles, but not quite. So anyways, this is my Ranunclulus. It fits perfectly. I'm very, very, very happy with it. I did 3/4. And I did an I-cord bind off, which I really like, but it's too loose and it probably needs to be about, I don't know, another inch longer maybe and come in. So I'm going to take this out and do a little bit of a rib and then bind that off. And then I have the sleeve over here. And then the bottom I think is done. I just didn't know quite what I want to do with it yet. If I want to go ahead and put the ribbing on there or do the I-cord bind off on there, I'm not sure yet, but the length is really good. If I'm going to rib it, I'm going to have to take out at least like an inch, so I could do an inch ribbing, or 2 inches, so I can do 2-inch ribbing. And but it fits perfectly. I'm so happy with it. So that's one of the new sweaters. And then the no need to panic sweaters are other new sweater. This particular one was done in Dream. And we have new Dream colors. They'll be in like in 5 weeks now. So these sweaters are very, very similar. I talked a lot about them last week. So if you want to know more about them, go listen to last week's video on YouTube. It's there. This one, the one that I did for myself is out of this Summer's Delight, Jody Long Summer Delight, which is a cotton cashmere blend. And it's turning out really, really nice. This can be done out of the same thing and looks really, really nice. So that they're more of a summer into fall weight, because this is heavy. This is a winter weight sweater. So that makes them summer into fall. This one, the gauge is more sweater gauge. It's going to be closer, probably more like 5 stitches, 4 stitches to the inch kind of thing. Mine is up on a 10, so my gauge is much looser, which makes it more summery because it's, air can get through and everything. So this is on a 10. I can't remember what the gauge is, but it's like, I think it's like 3.5 stitches or 3 stitches to the inch or something like that, even though the yarn is a DK yarn. So, you could always put stuff up. You could put this up on a 10 if you wanted to. We just changed what size you're going to knit. So you can always mess around with the gauge. And if you're knitting to measurements and not stitch counts, but measurements, then you can make it work pretty simply. So anyways, that's mine. It's fitting really good. I'm so excited about it. So this Sunday, mitten class if you want, sweater class if you want. If I have room, workshop if you want. So call the store, text me if you're able to do that, and save your spot. So the next class is Wednesday, the 24th from 5 to 7, and I'm going to do another Ravelry class. So this again is just a beginning Ravelry class. For all of you new to Ravelry, or have just sort of looked around at it, but don't know all the ins and outs and all the things that are hidden in there that make it really very, very useful database. It's an enormous database. It is added to constantly every day from around the world. And so there are patterns, thousands and thousands, like hundreds of thousands of patterns. There are free patterns, there's pay patterns, and you have to have an account. It's free, but you have to make an account. And if you put your projects in your account, which is one of the things it's really good for, is adding what you're knitting in there and then the information. Anytime anybody does that, it gets added to the database. So like this sweater right here, this sweater, the Ranunclulus, it has over 14,000 projects added to it. That means it's not 14,000 people, because a lot of people have done 4 and 5, but 14,000 sweaters, individual sweaters, have been knit and added into the database. So that is a multitude of information about one sweater, and how you can see how it fits. You can see all the different yarns. You can see mods people made, if they made notes about it. Some people don't make notes. You don't have to make notes. You do whatever you want with your project. Some people do extensive notes on what they've done. So it's a huge amount of information. One of the best things about it is being able to pick a pattern. I like this pattern. Go to the projects and see what it looks like on real people and not the model, because that's always very informative. So anyways, so Ravelry, and if you got your yarn, you can put your yarn in there, and it marries up yarn to different projects. It's really quite amazing what they've done with this. So anyways, that class is Wednesday. So that's this coming Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, so it's a week from today. Wednesday, I'm filming on Wednesday. You'll get this on Thursday. So it's a Wednesday the 24th from 5 to 7. So you're gonna be at your own house. You're gonna be on your own computer, and you're gonna zoom in to me, and that way you can watch me on my computer and you can do stuff on your computer. So you're gonna need 2 devices. One that you can watch on, and one that you can mess around on. So that's like a computer and a phone, a laptop and a phone. If you only have one device, it still would work. Yeah, it still would work. You would just put your thing bigger. You just have to toggle between me and your computer. If you have one device, I do suggest it's a computer or a laptop. My iPad. Anything you've got you got 2. Most of us have 2 of, one a phone and something else. It will work. So you'll sign up for that class. I'll send you the link and everything, and we'll start at 5 o'clock. So you'll be at your own home, and I'll be at my home, and we'll just have lots of fun going through Ravelry and looking at all the goodness that is Ravelry. So that class is this coming Wednesday from 5 to 7. 5 to 7. So the following Sunday, August 28th from 10 to 12 is our yearly blanket class. So the blanket people will be there. That's usually around 6 people, 6, 7, 8 people. I do have room sometimes for a workshop. Like the last class, I had 4 people at a separate table doing crochet and other things, and it worked out perfectly fine. I had a Zoom person. So it's the blanket class and the workshop. So that Sunday, the 28th, is, if you want to come to that as a workshop, you can, and the blanket class. And you know who you are if you're in the blanket class. This has been a year-long project, so that you won't be starting that new, but we will be starting it again in January. So if you're interested, January will be a new start date. I think this will be year number 4 for this blanket. And yeah, and I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do a video with all of you in the blanket class, so you can tell them how much you've learned in the blanket class. It's the day since January when you started. Last class we had 2 lace blocks, and I pretty much didn't have to help anybody. They could do it. They could help each other, and they're jacking away and not tearing too much out. And so they've come a long way since the very first lace block that they ever did. So it's a great class. The blanket's in the store. You can always ask us about it, and think about it for January, because we will be doing it again in January. And then our last class that I'm going to talk about is September 4th, and I've already talked about the owl class. So there's Mama Owl. Here's Baby Owl. Again, this is Susan B. Anderson. They're called Love Owls. So maybe, yeah, they're called Love Owls. And so you can do this one. And again, I suggested that if you can magic loop and do the body, which is no big deal, and get stuffed and ready to go, so that when you come to class, you're working on the embroidery and stuff that's happening, wings and all that kind of stuff, that's a really good option. If you don't know how to do the small circular knitting and you need to learn how to do that, then just come to class with your yarn and your needles, and I'll get you started on that. And then you'll come back at some other time if you need help with embroidery, and I'll help you with the embroidery. So that's that. And then I'm gonna add our little mermaid. Isn't she cute? Okay, this is also Susan B. Anderson. Pretty much everything I do toy-wise is going to be Susan B. Anderson. Might throw one or two things outside of there. Anyway, so she's adorable. Again, one piece all the way up. These little arms you do, and then you pick up for the little tails, and you knit them on and put a little bit of stuffing in them. And they're very cool. So I suggest that this is done at a fingering, and I must have dropped one of mine. So this is done at a fingering weight. So I suggest using these. Now the colors we have are the colors we have. These have been around for a couple years now. So you'll have, but we have a lot of colors, and you only need one or two. I probably will only need one of each color. So there's lots of options. You can also do this on, we have Cash Merino, and that's a sport weight. You could use that. You could use DK, it's just gonna be bigger. So you'll use the same pattern, and you'll go up a little bit needle size. If you go up yarn, you'll go up needle size. And so it'll be the same, it'll just be the doll will be a little bit bigger, that's all. So, you know, the different yarns, the worsted weight, it's all fine. The doll just is a little bit bigger. So these are your options. She's living here with our dream San Clemente seaside, and she's having fun swimming through the waves. Yay! So that's where she's been living, because it's appropriate, right? So anyway, she's been now added to the class that has the owls. So you now have the choice of these two, and that's September 4th, Sunday, 10 to 12. And that's it for this week. I hope you have a lovely, lovely week, and we see you in the studio real soon. Bye.